Chairman Rubio, Co-Chairman Smith, thank you for inviting me, and it's really an honor to testify before you today. The number of Internet users in China reached an estimated 772 million people as of the end of 2017. This figure puts the issues we are discussing today in perspective. They affect a group more than double the size of the population of the United States. Alongside this increased access to Internet services, China's ruling Communist Party has developed a robust apparatus of censorship, manipulation, and surveillance. Although this system has long been the most multi-layered and sophisticated control apparatus in the world, recent years have seen new waves of tightening. Over the past year, and particularly since a new cybersecurity law came into effect last June, online censorship and surveillance have expanded dramatically, alongside increasing arrests of Chinese citizens, particularly for content shared on the mobile instant messaging platform WeChat. Technical and regulatory innovation and experimentation is constantly underway. It is thus worth considering, what are the costs of this tightening for various actors inside and outside China? Well, for Chinese netizens, the space for ordinary Chinese to obtain and share information on a wide range of political and even apolitical topics has noticeably shrunk. The risk of punishment for even facetious comments deemed unacceptable to the authorities has risen. These shifts affect hundreds of millions of users in China. For target populations like activists or members of religious and ethnic minorities, the consequences are especially dire. Numerous lawyers, bloggers, Tibetan monks, Uyghur Muslims, Christians, and Falun Gong practitioners have been jailed for sharing, downloading, or accessing information online or via their mobile phones. For Chinese tech companies, Chinese technology companies try to serve their customers, but they are also required to monitor and delete massive amounts of user-generated content in an ever-changing and arbitrary regulatory environment. Over the past month, popular applications providing news or enabling the sharing of humorous content to tens of millions of users have been suspended or shut down for failing to rectify their content sufficiently. These apps are now planning to hire thousands more internal censors. For foreign tech firms, as you know, many of the world's top technology and social media companies are restricted from providing services to Chinese users. Foreign companies that do operate in China or work with Chinese firms are forced to comply with censorship demands. LinkedIn restricts users from accessing profiles or posts by people outside China that contain politically sensitive information. Apple removed more than 600 applications from its mobile phone store that enabled Chinese users to access blocked websites. But foreign companies are also increasingly at risk of being complicit in politicized arrests or violations of user privacy. It's not only Apple that has transferred users' data to servers in China under data localization provisions in the cybersecurity law. Evernote is another U.S. company that has done so. In its case, not with a company that's owned by the government, but with Tencent, which has been known to pass information to police in the past. Airbnb China recently alerted its hosts that it, quote, may disclose your information to Chinese government agencies without further notice to you, end quote. And one of the biggest investors in the artificial intelligence firm SenseTime, which provides facial recognition to local police in at least one prison in China, is none other than U.S. chipmaker Qualcomm. For the Communist Party. Now, the Communist Party is leading the drive for increased Internet controls to protect its hold on power, shield itself from criticism, and stop organized political opposition. But this project also comes with costs for the party in terms of legitimacy and even the effectiveness of censorship efforts. A new academic study found that after Instagram was blocked in 2014, users were more motivated to seek out tools to circumvent censorship and reach the platform. But along the way, they encountered a wide array of censored content they might not otherwise have seen. More broadly, with each announcement of new restrictions that negatively affect millions of users, signs of public backlash are evident. The constitutional changes enacted last month that removed term limits for President Xi Jinping are a case in point. The sheer scale of censorship points to a sizable contingent of Chinese citizens who disagreed with the moves, and much of the dissent emerged in the form of ridicule aimed directly at Xi. The situation provoked many Chinese citizens who might otherwise consider themselves apolitical to begin expressing their worries about China's direction and looking for ways around censorship. Despite these costs and periodic concessions to public outcries, it's hard to imagine any voluntary loosening of restrictions in the coming years. On the contrary, we're likely to see more tightening, more government demands for companies' cooperation, and more arrests of innocent users. The international community should be ready to respond to these trends. There are recommendations specifically for the U.S. government included in my written testimony. But despite the Chinese government's ever-escalating efforts to censor and monitor internet use, steps by the United States and others can have a real impact. And I would like to conclude with a quotation from an anonymous Chinese reader of our China Media Bulletin. Quote, "I am a lower-class worker in Chinese society, and I don't speak English. An independent Chinese media like you that does in-depth reports about the situation in China gives me a better understanding of China's current situation and future development. I think the flow of information and freedom of speech are very important to China's future development. Birds in cages long to fly. Even if we can't fly out now, hearing the chirping of birds outside can still give us hope and faith." Thank you.